Hi, I'm Matt with etrailer, and today we're going to be talking to the Curt T-connector custom wiring kit with the 4-pole on our 2023 Nissan Murano. Now this is going to be a great option for you if you're looking for something that's going to be able to help you haul a small trailer or put on any smaller accessories on the back of your hitch. It's just going to be something that's going to give you a little bit extra security, letting you be able to use lights. It's just going to hang out the back of your hatch, so it's really easy to access. And when you do need to put it away, you simply can just move the mat you have in the back and open up this storage area. If you don't want to use this storage area, you can use one of the ones you have on the side too. And one of the major selling points of this wiring kit we have today is how quick and easy it is to work with. So you don't have to do any splicing. It's already going to plug into the existing plugs you have on your vehicle. And you don't have to run any wires all the way up to the front of your battery either. And I thought it was pretty easy and straightforward, but if you need a hand with it, just stay tuned and we'll show you how to do it. To start off the installation, I recommend grabbing a light because that's going to make this process a lot easier. After when you grab that light, you can come in here, and if you have a liner on top, you can just remove that because we're going to have to remove a lot of this to get underneath here and have access to the wiring. We're just going to open this up and you'll have access to your tires now. And the next step is just going to be removing these two other panels on the side. Just pulling up on these two strings. And after when you remove these, you can start clearing everything out. Removing these trays on both sides. And how you do that is by taking out these 10mm bolts. There's going to be 2 per side. So I'm just going to grab a socket with an extender and take them out. What I like to do is when I grab them, they can kind of get stuck. So if you just pivot them or move them at an angle, they'll drop out of place so you can remove them. We're going to remove this panel closest to me right here, and then we're going to remove the siding too. Grab a trim tool. You can grab a screwdriver if you don't have one of those with you, and just pop out the center part right here and put it to the side. And now we're going to come to the inner side of this threshold where you're going to have 3 push pin fasteners, and you can use a screwdriver for this too. I'm just going to use a trim tool. And when you pull this out, make sure you take the base out with it. We have to pull on it just a little bit. Just make sure you don't break anything. Yep. I'm going to come over here to this latch. I'm going to pull this handle down, and then we're going to take a trim tool or a screwdriver to push this down the rest of the way. Then that will give you access to this 10mm bolt. So we'll just grab our 10mm socket and take it out the rest of the way. At the top part of this panel, you're going to have this circular knob here. There's going to be a little notch on the side of it. We're just going to grab our trim tool and apply pressure to that and pop this off. Now we can start removing this panel. This is by pulling up and prying on it so these tabs on the side pop off. And we just want it open enough so we can access our wires back here. Now we can see these 2 plugs, and the plug that we're going to be focusing on is going to be this larger one on the bottom. And now that we can see that, we're just going to grab a knife and cut some of that electric tape off so we can access it now. Once you have it, you can press down on the top of it so you can remove or unplug it altogether. Then we're going to grab our yellow and red wires with the plugs on them. And we're going to be matching our male side with our female side, and doing that vice versa for the other one too. Next up, to get our ground wiring hooked up, we're going to take our ring terminal and we're going to bolt it on at this point right here. Now, if you don't have any bolts, I just recommend grabbing some if you have any on hand. We have a couple on hand. Just make sure that they are able to fit through that terminal. If they are, then you're on track. You're just going to put this on now. And once that's on, just grab a nut and hand tighten it to begin with. Go down this wire until we come to this other plug that's tied on here, or taped on there. And we're just going to grab a knife and cut that loose. Just cut in that tape. And once that tape is removed, we can make our connection with this red wire and plug. Now, when you are plugging this in, make sure the fuse isn't in here. And if there's no fuse in here, then you can make that connection. Now we're going to grab this green wire with the two plugs on both sides. I'm going to run this underneath this bracket. And we're going to pull it through and run it down over here to your passenger side underneath this second bracket. And with both of those through, you can make your connections on the passenger side. And it's going to be like the driver's side, just matching that male and female plugs and making those connections. Take that fuse holder and take our larger fuse of the two that came with this set and just plug it right in. You can start tightening everything up. So what I like to do is make sure I tape these back down into place and find a good spot to mount my box. Now, what you're looking for is a good flat surface that's pretty clean. So I'm probably going to go with this spot back here so I can put my double-sided tape on the back of this. And now, after when I've cleaned off this spot back here, I want to make sure that my double-sided tape's on here and place it on. Putting this side panel back together, making sure everything fits back to how it was. And the last thing we want to do before we test our connection is place our fuse in our fuse box. So I'm just going to remove these tabs on the side of the lid so I can access these fuses. And with this up, if we take a look at the inside, we'll see where the fuse we need to use is, and that's going to be 30A for towing. So, looking back over here, if you notice, you should already have one installed on your Nissan. If you don't, this does come with a fuse for that, so you can put it in right here. Now we're going to do our test, and the way we're going to be doing it today is by connecting our full pole wiring with a full pole tester. Now, if you don't have one of those, what you can do is just connect to a trailer with full pole wiring on it. And the first thing we're going to check is going to be our left turn signal. Now after that, we're going to go right. Then we're going to check our brakes. And then finally, we're going to check our lights being turned on and off. And after that, you can start putting things back together, making sure you tape everything back into place or zip tie it so you don't have nothing loose. and then you can start putting in all those panels back together inside the hatch. But if you liked everything you saw today, that's just a look at the Curt custom wiring system on the back of our 2023 Nissan Murano.